Okay, welcome back to the Survivor Conquest podcast. I'm sorry that Kyle is currently enjoying his dinner. Um,
His
I wouldn't
sausage.
be doing, I wouldn't be if someone didn't take so fucking long to show up.
You know what I was busy doing. I can't reveal that to the live audience.
Gabler, ex Rachel.
It had to do with Gabler
oh
and
my
it had to
God.
do with sausage, just a
You
hint.
know, the Survivor Conquest podcast is supposed to be, I think, for all ages. This episode might be
We did
PG-13
Isaiah,
at least.
Rated
Isaiah,
R.
our predictions last
Rated
week
R,
Rated
had
R for
somebody,
PG-13.
rated R for Rachel.
Oh, I guess that
our
makes sense.
prediction,
Yeah.
Isaiah, our predictions last week included Christian assaulting Devons. Turns out we were wrong, but we were on the money. Something was getting assaulted. It just happened to be Gabler.
Oh, I thought you were gonna say Christian's pants, but yeah.
That's what I thought you were going to say too. No, because we always do bold predictions at the end, and I thought Coach and Ozzy were going to throw hands, and I
I
got
said someone was going to get rocked out.
and Ozzy was getting a
Oh
little lippy
boy.
with Coach, so I thought, oh, it's going to happen, but it didn't happen.
The best part is we could have actually genuinely predicted last week is our big bold prediction that somebody is going to shit their pants, and we would have been right. We would have been fucking geniuses.
I think it's just perfect that that happened on the episode I'm on here for because Isaiah, I feel like you could really resonate with like a player like that who's
I
shits
did
their pants
say
all the
Wow.
Isaiah and I were talking while we were watching the episode, and I say, Isaiah, we've all been there. I know you have.
I know,
So
I know Isaiah told me that story that one time, and I just thought of
What
him when I.
story?
it was cold outside. You needed a little bit of warmth. So I
What
get
the
it.
hell? Okay,
Isaiah,
this
it's
is the
okay.
Survivor
Christian did
Conquest
it
podcast,
too,
not
And
the.
you conquered your bowels that winter night.
and
No,
you're
this
not
is not.
alone.
This is not a
Yeah.
true story.
We're
Anyway,
right there with you, buddy.
Oh,
okay,
Christian's right there with you.
so this episode, I guess the focal point of the episode is going to be talking about Christian
Christian's
grabbing
pants.
his
Yeah,
pants.
pretty much.
Hold on. Wait, first off, all right, we have a brand new guest, the first lady to Survivor Conquest. Oh, it's Rachel. Rachel,
Oh my
introduce
goodness.
yourself to our thousands of fans.
Hello, hello. You guys might also recognize me as being the only female in probably another Conquest season I've played. Um, but you know what? The most notable one for sure. I will give that to myself. And here I am on this podcast. Very excited to be here. And I thought it was an amazing episode, so I'm excited to talk about it. I really thoroughly enjoyed the episode, just entertainment wise, and seeing some more of the dynamics too. So I'm excited.
Yeah.
That's
There was nothing
interesting that.
groundbreaking. Shut up, Isaiah. There was nothing
Okay.
groundbreaking. Hold on, give me a second. I need to finish chewing.
You just shut
Okay, you're
Isaiah
chewing,
up.
then I can speak. So
Okay, I'm
as
done
I
now.
was
So I
saying,
was
no, because Q, I don't know if anybody
I
saw
just
this.
finished eating. I
What?
just finished eating. Yeah, so I don't know if anyone saw this, but Q was what were you gonna say?
I will say it myself. So Q, like, I
Q
guess did a cameo
was
recently talking about how this episode was so much better than the premiere. So, like, what, like a couple minutes
It's
in when Christian, like, crapped his pants, I'm like, oh my God, this episode is so much better than the premiere. Like, already right off the bat, Kyle,
because you
what?
resonated with it. I get it.
I'm just eating my dinner, Isaiah. Leave me alone.
Oh, this is the most unserious, like, episode of the podcast we've
Open wide, Kyle.
Here comes the
Here comes
alligator.
the
The
tree.
alligator.
The alligator.
God, I hope
Um,
I don't apply to Survivor and then they happen across this while I'm in the finals of casting.
he's on.
Oh God.
Um, yeah, I mean, I didn't hear anything about so Q saying it was better than the premiere, but I can see an argument, even though I also enjoyed the premiere. But I mean, like I said, I thought it was a 10 out of 10 episode. I enjoyed it. I mean, like nothing too crazy. Like I guess Kyle said nothing groundbreaking for sure. But I was smiling the whole time. I was enjoying it. I was even into the challenges, and I'm usually not really that into the challenges. So
Yeah,
Yeah, I
I said
think.
the same thing. Shut up,
Oh
Isaiah.
my
God
God.
damn it. I said last time that, watching the premiere, I think it's just that new season funk, that new big returnee season finally. This is the first returnee season in the time that I've known both of you. Like
yeah,
that,
that's
that's how
crazy.
long it's
That's
been
We
since
have
crazy.
Winners of War.
45.
Shut the
Bruce was a
no.
returnee.
Oh, Bruce.
Isaiah, you can bleep out all the swears, right, Isaiah?
No, People can
What?
swear on here. No, I don't edit
We're
these.
gonna
I
get
just post
It's
demonetized.
them.
rated R, I
We're
thought.
gonna
Come
get
on.
demonetized.
But it's
No.
rated R.
Oh, okay, fine.
No, but
Anyway,
I
yeah,
was
like
gonna say the challenges or whatever. I thought it was interesting how Mike White, I think, somehow beat Jonathan when it was like both of their times to go. Aubrey,
Yes.
for whatever reason, didn't have the best episode last episode, and same thing with this episode until a certain point when she got gifted the idol for whatever reason. I don't know why Christian gave it to Aubrey. I mean, Kyle and I were kind of talking about this before. Like, I thought it was because Aubrey was voted out with an idol last time she played the game. So I thought it was more
Mhm.
of like, oh, trying to put the target on her and get the idol back. But I also see Christian and Aubrey as a very similar archtype, and they actually seem
Me too.
compatible from a gameplay point of view. So, I mean, I
That's what
guess
I
it's hard to tell what Christian's intentions were
I
actually.
think it could be both at the same time. At
Maybe.
hmm
the end of the day, it's if you can have that perfect person where if I end up on a tribe with them and I want to work with them, then hey, I gave you an idol. If they go home with it like they have in the past, hey, I got an idol. It's just a win-win. It's a good person to give it to. I think it was a good choice.
I
I
will
was.
say I'm not super like out of all the people on the cast, I will say Aubrey's not really towards the top for me. She's definitely more towards the bottom, if anything. So not thrilled that she's the one to be the recipient of an idol because I like, the players I'm rooting for more to have the advantages. But I think it does make it interesting. I mean, well, granted now we know they're about to swap, but it would have been interesting on that tribe for her to have it, given from my understanding, she seemed like she was the one who was gonna go. Um, so I thought that could have been interesting. And I also thought on that note, Genevieve, crazy read there. She checked Aubrey's bag thinking she could have a boomerang idol before she even got the boomerang idol, which I thought that was a really impressive read by her that she ended up being right. But they'll never
If
know.
if only she was right like 12 hours
12
later.
hours later, yeah.
That would have been great for her. But yeah, I like the episode. Like, yeah, Rachel, I said already, nothing groundbreaking, but I do think it's just seeing all these players again. I'm engaged for the first time in forever.
Same,
Like last
same.
episode, my heart was actually beating a little bit. That hasn't happened since the opening seconds of season 41. It has been a long time since I've really been invested in Survivor. It's nice. And yeah, there was nothing insane this episode, other than I would say Devin's and Christian's move probably my favorite part of the episode. I am so interested to see that. That's the
Yeah.
kind of ingenuity that we haven't gotten in 41, 42, so on and so forth, et cetera, et cetera. That's the kind of shit that I like to see. It's the game actually developing for the first time in 10 seasons, in 5 years. It's just like, it's something that, I don't know, it's nothing groundbreaking this episode, but it's the little things that you can appreciate that I just wasn't seeing in the last 10 seasons.
Speaking of like tribal count, I guess we could talk about tribal council. I'm surprised, Rachel, you said it was 10 out of 10 because I thought Savannah going home was kind of boring and the least likely out of the three people that were on the block. I thought for sure it was going to be either Joe or Ozzy. And I guess we could talk about like Joe as a player because I don't know if you saw 48, but
Mm-hmm.
he was all about the honor, integrity, what have you. But in the premiere, I thought like he had a very promising showing because I thought he was going to change his ways, and he fully acknowledged the fact that, that's the way he played the last time, and he was going to change, but he's stuck in his old ways, and I think in a way like even worse than 48 because I don't think people in 48 thought he was such a nuisance that like people had to play
Yeah.
around the loyalty
Yeah,
card and not
well,
to give him information so that what were you going to say?
I think reanalyzing what he actually said in the premiere, he said that he wanted to be, I believe, don't quote me exactly, but he was said something along the lines, not that he wanted to really change his game, but that it hurt that he got duped by Kyle and Camilla, so he wanted to be more aware of that. So thinking of his actions in this episode with that more in mind, it makes a lot more sense. Like he's not really changed. He's just trying a lot harder to not get duped. But in no way is he really trying to do the duping. I think what we thought Joe was going to kind of be is more what Jonathan is actually doing, where he's very conscious, I think, and props to Jonathan, pretty conscious of how other people perceive him. And I will say this, Jonathan didn't really say how exactly he's supposed to be twisting that to his favor, but it's to his benefit that he is at least aware of the perception he's carrying with him. Whereas Joe, not really. Joe just seems pretty much unchanged. If anything, he's a worse version of what was going okay for him in 48.
I will say so. Yeah, called it a 10 out of 10 episode in terms of enjoyment. I did say not the best gameplay, right? I mean, I don't know how you guys felt, but based on last week's episode, and I've been running this like confidence pool that I've been doing with people that's like you rank all the players each episode on in terms of like who you think is most likely to go, least likely to go. I think Isaiah, I think we may have done that one season for fun. Um and we've been doing that and I did put Savannah, I think, as my second most likely pick to go home. I thought D would go, but Savannah went home. That was my pick to go from that tribe. From last week's episode, that was the edit I was getting. But I was kind of duped by the edit this episode. I thought it, like you said, seemed like the least likely of the three to go home. I was pretty shocked to see Savannah's name written down. I thought Joe was totally gone based on all of the negative content he got this episode. When I agree that he seems like a lesser version of how he was back then. But I mean, back then, but I also felt, I mean,
6 months ago. Wow.
I'm curious to hear your guys' opinions on what actually did go down between Joe and Devon's though, because I sort of understood what Joe was saying. I think it was understandable why he was sort of like confused, like, if I'm supposed to be in that alliance, why aren't you telling me about it? And I think he had sort of the right read on there to be skeptical of it because I think Devons ultimately didn't tell him because Devons didn't want to be in an alliance with Rick. I mean, Devons didn't want to be in an alliance with Joe. So it's not a terrible read. I guess it's just a matter of he didn't really understand how to sort of like use that awareness that like he was talking about wanting to be more aware. I think he was sort of aware in that sense, but then sort of blew it up with Evans instead of like trying to like save himself in a different way, build different relationships with different people. Instead, he just sort of crashed out on Devons and it didn't really get him
Yeah,
anywhere.
for me, I don't know, it's honestly something that's super fascinating to analyze. And I said that there was kind of an echo of David from 48 with Joe in the premiere. And I got another echo of him here where he was just trying to go up and be honest. But with David in 48, he recognized that Kyle and Camilla actually seemed to be this secret duo. But then he didn't have the social awareness, the social ability to actually capitalize on it. And we saw an echo of that with Joe here. Although with me, from what was apparently the situation with Joe seeing that Savannah whispered to Devins, like that seems like a very small thing to get your panties in a bundle over. Like, I don't know why Joe reacted that way. But I also felt like there was, when he was actually given that little confessional while him and Devins were talking on the beach trying to hash it out, I was half expecting there to be a little snippet of Joe at the end where he was saying that he's using his perception or he's using the perception of him of this honor integrity type gameplay where he wants the truth from you and you don't want to burn him because then he's just going to be against you because you lied to him. And he was going to say that I know that's what people's perceptions of me are, and I'm using that because now people are scared to be lying to me. I don't think that that's a good way to go about it, but at least there would have been intentionality in what Joe was
Intention.
doing that I
Yeah.
could appreciate. The way Joe is, it's just it's not great.
He's
Uh,
getting lost in translation, I think.
Yeah, no, I was gonna say like I kind of understand where like Joe is coming from because it's like what he said like what Devins was hiding isn't a bad thing. It is being an alliance, and I don't think we've ever seen somebody do that before, like lie about a creation of an alliance or whatever. Because typically on Survivor, I feel like when somebody proposes you with an alliance, like yes is always your answer. Like you never want to like
Hmm.
close doors or say no to anything. So, and also I forgot what else. What else was like Joe
That's,
saying?
I think the fact that he didn't bring up the Alliance is almost what made it even more clear to me that it was at least not Ozzy going home, right? At the very
Mhm.
least.
Yeah. I wasn't expecting Ozzy to go home. That seemed like the quiet random option. If anything, I was surprised to see that Ozzy was the person that got the one vote. I thought it was going to
I
be
thought it was
Joe
going to be Joe
and
too, but
probably
I
Same.
thought
Savannah.
Me
Savannah
too.
was more the quiet option because even like in terms of like airtime, this was a very quiet episode for her in terms of confessionals because I know I just looked at the confessional count. She only had like two confessionals, and I think Joe and Ozzy had like a lot more. And typically, when somebody's going home, they get a good amount of screen time.
Mhm.
What are you doing? Okay, he's back.
Sorry, I had to plug in my computer.
I wanted to
I'm
see what
back.
the sausage thought about the episode.
Oh, did you guys just see the sausage?
Oh
Yeah, what do you
God.
think?
I think
Um,
Go
So
ahead,
yeah, what
Isaiah.
were we talking
Sorry,
about?
I
Kyle.
thought you were I thought you were in the middle of yapping.
No, no,
Was that?
no. I think I
No, because
kind of
Isaiah,
no, no, no. I think
you
I
said it.
said what I wanted to say.
Hmm.
Yeah, about the whole like Joe and like Devin situation. I think again, Joe being upset. Well, I think he blown it a little bit out of proportion, but I think it's definitely valid because I think that's suspicious too. Like,
Yeah.
those two like whisper before like he goes to the water well to like talk to him or whatever. Like, I don't know if I was on Survivor and if I saw that, I would think that's a bit sus. So,
Hmm. So
um,
then I guess my question becomes, because like I said, I think, it was a valid thing. He was aware. I think he was being aware of that, but he handled it poorly. So I guess the question is, how do you guys think he should have handled it?
I feel like if I were in his shoes, I would have probably let it be. Because I mean, I'm not of
I
Joe's
would
mind of
too.
what are you whispering about? I was of Devin's mind that sometimes people whisper in Survivor. At the end of the day, my fate is in my own hands. I just have to have faith in my ability to build my own social bonds. If someone else is whispering at the end of the day, like people have to go and have conversations. I can't just ignore Savannah the entire time and then vote her out. I have to have some conversations with her. I have to appear like I want to work with her. So I would have just been whatever if it were me there.
Yeah, the other
Hmm.
thing too that I thought about as well is that like on Survivor, of course, everybody's lying to anybody, and easily Joe could have interpreted that, or like I think even myself would have interpreted that like as a lie, because it's like really like why would you lie about that? Like why would you lie
Yeah,
about
it
wanting
was
to
a
be in an
strange.
alliance? I don't
Hmm.
know. I think it's a bit strange.
I agree. And I guess now I am curious. I mean, although I was intrigued to see Savannah play, I thought she seemed to be like also a little bit more like of a different type of
Hmm.
player. It seems we were like maybe we were gonna get, and I was kind of interested to see her get a fair shot on this cast, which I don't really think she did. I guess maybe she got screwed by the fact that she lied about the advantage, but I feel like even if she said she had the advantage, she would have been voted out anyway. That's just my opinion. But I'm curious now though with Joe still in and with knowing it's a swap, like where does he go from here? Like is he gonna make different allies on different tribes? Is he gonna still try to stick with those people? I'm really curious and interested to see what he decides to do.
Well, I don't think he has any strong loyalty or allegiance to anybody just yet. I don't think he's found his Eva or like his loyalty type crew. I think if he gets swapped with like someone like
Coach.
Coach,
Yeah.
like that can definitely be his guy. Or like some of the old school players, Stephanie, Colby, I think
Hmm.
that'll be his crew. And maybe
Colby, I
from
could
that
see.
point moving forward, that's gonna be his alliance that he's incredibly loyal to. I was gonna say something about Savannah. Oh yeah, Savannah. Savannah surprised me too, because from 49, she was like this very like aggressive, super strategic. People even called her a mean girl, and she was like kind of mean
Yeah,
and
she was like
whatnot.
Ice Queen, like had a front for sure.
Did not get that vibe at all from her this time around. So I thought that was interesting, and I would have also liked to see her play this different type of game. But with her being a winner from a season that hasn't aired yet, like we all knew going into this season, she probably wasn't gonna last long. But I think guaranteed somebody from 49, because if you look back at like seasons past, somebody that plays back to back, at least one of them does really well. I think overall most of them do pretty well, but given the circumstances, yeah, no. Savannah was going to go home early, and probably I'd assume Rizzo would make a deep run if we look back at past
Yeah,
seasons.
I'm not unhappy. I mean, Savannah is the or
Same.
no, the second person I lose for my draft team. I lost Kyle last week too, but I'm not unhappy to see her go. I think she might have just been drawing dead here no matter what, but I do think it was a bad play to to approach the game the way she did, keeping her advantages a secret. At the point where you're coming in as a complete unknown, you just want to be flat out honest because then at least people see some value in that you're just completely out there honest about how your season was. People are going to value that. People are going to respect that. But she was off the bat a little bit more reserved, trying to kind of just like toying with them and their expectations in a little bit. So I don't know. I think she really misplayed that. But one thing I wanted to touch on was that you guys talked about who Joe's people would be going forward. And Colby is somebody that you guys said. I actually like Colby a lot. And it was a really quiet moment. Like it was part of like his confessional this episode, but it was a quiet moment. It's just Colby being so game to go through Aubrey's bag Like it reminds me of the Colby that was saying, "What are you guys doing?" while he's sitting in a bed with Amanda and who was it, Danielle
Yes,
in
and he
HBV
stopped the
in
fight
HBV
for the advantage and
because he
let
wanted to watch Treasure Island.
he
But
stopped the fight
and
for not only did he do that, but he also let like the opposing alliance get the advantage. He was like, okay, Danielle can have it. And Amanda was like, what the fuck?
yeah, so I'm loving seeing Colby. Like Colby is obviously still he's not at a 40 or the new era level of being fully in the game, fast paced everything. But this is an evolved Colby that is a bit more down for the scheming and the making of alliances and the let's get this person out, let's make sure they don't have an idol. I really appreciate that, and that's I mean maybe Joe would be more down for that. It's just not a side we're seeing of Joe this season. But like I'm liking
Yeah.
Colby a lot this season. He's certainly not the best player, and he's not. I wouldn't say Colby's going to win because I feel like he's not going to get the kind of respect because he doesn't have the intentionality that a lot of the gamers on this cast do. But I'm loving Colby. I think Colby, regardless of how he does at this point, he's probably leaving with a highly improved resume as far as his survivor abilities go.
Yeah, I'm pleased with Colby too. And I gotta say, not to jump to a totally different person, but like I can't get it out of my head that like what an episode for Suri. Like I thought Suri maybe I want to say maybe MVP, but I don't know because I feel like arguably could have been in any cast of new players, the Suri and her scenario would have been the first boot last week, potentially. Not only to turn that around, right? She's in this able to, her name wasn't out there really at all. She's basically sort of planting the seeds for Savannah to go to Emily. That's what was really shown was her on the hammock feeding Emily the reasons why Savannah was dangerous. That's what ended up happening. And not only all of that, for whatever reason, Ozzy gives her an extra vote. Like she is good at what she does. You got to hand it to her because I think there's a lot of people from what I've seen who kind of are preying on Cerie's downfall, don't think that she's actually all that, kind of don't really even want to see her, which I was shocked at because I think she's a legend. But people I guess get frustrated that she did sell the challenge completely last week and could have been the first boot had she not been Cerie. But I think so, there's a reason why Suri is one of the best, and I was really happy to see her do so well in that episode, and really just I felt like she kind of ran the vote, even though it may have not been her decision. I felt like she planted the seeds for the Savannah vote.
Yeah, I think so. I mean, I think I don't know what it is about Sri. I'd have to play with her or something to know what kind of secret sauce she has. Because to me, like as an onlooker's perspective, like it's inexplicable. And I think, I mean, just like being somebody that like understands and analyzes edit, I feel like there was a bit of puffery to Suri's edit this episode where she was
I agree.
talking.
The producers love Suri. They're gonna give
Yeah,
her
like
good
I think
edit.
Savannah could have been like the likely vote anyway, but she was just given credit for it. But I mean, obviously she did say those words out on the island. We're seeing what happened there, at least a little sliver of it. So like that stuff did happen, but I think her confessional about like weighing the options to people and then planting the seeds, it more just seemed like she was just laying out kind of what she wanted to me and then had this confessional afterwards that made her look like she was like hardcore manipulating people. I don't think that that's fully the case, but absolutely the fact that she's not a target at all, even though she's in this known duo, like I don't know, she's got to be some other kind of beast socially to do what she does, and it's pretty incredible. And I mean, I think Isaiah and I did talk about this going into the season. Like, I think a part of the madness around Cerise is that I don't feel like Cerise ever really evolved. She's been the same amazing player since her first season, and I feel like it's her fifth time. Like, to be honest, like I don't need to necessarily see Sari do the exact same thing for a fifth time. That's not that I dislike Sari. It's just that I don't know. I want to see new players or players we haven't seen in a while get a chance to prove that they've changed. And Sari hasn't changed. She's just the same great Sari. So I can understand like some of why people might be annoyed that she's back because she doesn't really evolve.
Yeah, but I think Suri, not only the fact that she hasn't really evolved, but we've seen so much Suri on reality TV as of lately. Like she was on
Yeah,
Big Brother,
it's
Traders, all
true.
this stuff, Australian Survivor as well. So, I
I
mean,
don't
that
know
could
Yeah,
be
how the
part of
fuck
the
she
reason
gets the
as
time
well.
off.
What?
right.
I don't know how she gets the time off. She's a nurse, right? But
Yeah,
how
she
the
is.
hell
A
she's
lot of
leaving?
time off,
I
I
don't know.
agree.
I have
What
no
do you guys think
idea.
about Ozzy giving her the extra vote though? Because that was sort of out of the blue to me. I didn't think he
I
really
think
needed to do
Ozzy's
that.
mindset was him like trying to change and evolve as not just like like fishing and physical game, but trying to, I guess, build a bond or something or making a socially strategic move. But it doesn't really make sense in a way because like Ozzy already has Suri. Like there's no reason for him to do
That
that.
was my thought process too. Like, I guess I get it, it could lock you in more, but Suri was already saying Ozzy's my number one. Granted, yeah, I'm sure this helps, but it felt almost like a little unnecessary to me.
Yeah.
Could have been maybe his own like insecurity of just like, not trusting Suri. That's what it could have been, honestly. But like I said, I mean, an advantage lands in Suri's lap, and she really didn't have to even ask for it or do anything to get it.
Yeah,
He just offered it up.
to be fair, it's an extra vote. It's not the most powerful advantage, and Ozzy has the idol. Like, does he really need also an extra vote? I guess on a swap tribe, when the numbers can get a bit small, then I could see the advantage being a bit more powerful. But I don't know. As of right now, the way the game is, I don't think he really needs it, and I don't really think he's giving that much away. At least that's just
Yeah,
what I think.
it works to Ozzy's favor that the edit didn't portray him as a fool. As much as fans are all saying, "Why the hell would you give your extra vote away?" The edit of the show didn't frame it as Suri cackling, like, "Why'd you do this?" It was just,
Right.
"Wow, thank you, Ozzy. This is amazing." So it's good for Ozzy on that front, but yeah, it's a bit questionable as to why he would do it. I mean, maybe he's just genuinely that grateful. I mean, I've been there before in games where I'm thinking like I am just really grateful to be there. It's just like that after tribal and rush that kind of takes away a little bit of your judgment. And you're just thinking, like, wow, I'm just so happy to be here. And it's just a great day. Let me do this kind thing for this person that I want to work to the end of this game with. But that being said, it's just, yeah, it's an iffy move. But at the end of the day, Ozzy continues to impress me based on my very low expectations from what I was expecting of him going in. So it's good for him. And I will say, fully to Ozzy's credit, he is not a good social player. Suri and Emily cackled to themselves this episode about how bad he was. But similar to Jonathan knowing his own perception and wanting to evolve a little bit, Ozzy's showing the same ability to some extent. It would be great for him if he was just actually able to improve his social
On his
game,
own. Yeah.
but at least he has the self-awareness to say, I'm not good at this. Sari is good at this. I'm going to work with her. That's very good game awareness. It would be nice
And
if he was just a
humble.
better player.
Pretty
Yeah,
humble of him too.
which for Ozzy, from what I know of Ozzy, is pretty big. Which
That's
actually, I
Yeah.
mean, I
some
feel like
character
we talked a
growth
lot
right
about
there.
Ozzy.
Sure.
What are you guys' opinions of the Matt chat? Like, I mean, Kyle going was kind of whatever. I feel like the biggest thing here was the Ozzy coach confrontation.
That was I mean, that's what it was crazy. Cause one second it's Camilla's crying, and then Ozzy's like talking about his injury. And I guess coach just like no remorse, just had to get to the point of
I feel like
just to
there
set
had to
the
be
record straight.
yeah, there had to be something like I feel like
Something edited out.
Well, no, Jeff had to know just because, like, I'm sure Coach will have said something like he's planning to set the record straight or something. I have to imagine Jeff knew that that was supposed to happen, so he teed Coach up by
Yeah.
asking him the question so that that could
Directly
happen.
after Ozzy, yeah.
Yeah, which I mean, I think this whole situation with everything, it's so overblown. If just put down to the absolute facts of what happened, Coach is in the right. And I'll be honest, I'm a little more down on Coach than I was in the premiere because he showed a little less self-awareness where he said in the premiere, like, I'm keeping my mouth shut. I'm not agreeing to that deal. And then this episode, he doesn't say that in front of everybody. He says, hey, ignore my dogs. I don't know if you can hear that, but they just barked. Well, yeah, but then coach says, "Hey, listen, I'm all about honor integrity, same as I have been, same as I always will be." It's a step down. I still love coach. I am going to love coach till the day I die. But it is a little disheartening to see that perhaps his game hasn't evolved that much. He took two steps forward, one step back, I would say. Yeah.
I mean, yeah, he said that, but then I think afterwards he kind of went back on like what he said, and he said, "Oh, I play this game as honorable as I can, or given the certain." I don't know.
Yeah.
He wasn't
He,
as
he gave
direct about
himself
it.
he gave himself the asterisk of saying as honorable as I can. So which I mean, maybe I feel like that's reasonable enough to say that he is saying that, and then if ever there is a moment where something dishonorable happens, he just justifies it as well. I had to do it. I don't know, Rachel, what was your whole opinion of this situation over the last two episodes? Because you haven't been here, so I'm curious your thoughts.
I'm with you on the fact that I will always love Coach. Coach is my number one draft pick every draft I've done. I just need him on my team, whether he's gonna win or not. He's
Sorry,
probably not.
Rachel. He's not on your team. He's on
Damn
my
it.
team.
Damn it. Like I don't expect never expect a coach to win the season, but he's the best. I love him. He's just great TV. So I gotta root for him. But I do disagree a little bit in the sense I never perceived him to have self-awareness, not even last episode. That's just not something that's ever I've never correlated with Coach. I can see maybe a little more than before, but I'm
Just a
just a little.
tinge.
I'm just I'm always gonna view him though as just like a little delusional. But I love him. I think he was in the right in the situation. Like, sure, like take the key. Like there's no rule against it. I think if anything, Ozzy was boring being like, let's let the one who gets it get it. Like, come on. Like Survivor 50. That
Yeah,
was like
Ozzy, the
naive.
only one actively trying to get it, says that. Like, okay.
I just thought it was sort of, if anything, naive on Ozzy's end to think that that would have been the case, and I was surprised there wasn't more hustle from Q to sneak in there and get it actually. But in terms of whatever happened on the mat and all that stuff that goes after it, I think the bottom line for me is Coach was in the right. However, it's the fact that he still goes on to be just playing with honor and integrity and like just the preaching that when it's like it's not aligning with his actions in some capacity and he can't handle that when that's the perception of him. Like that's why I think we're starting to see him sort of like it's digging in him, you know? It's like it's getting under his skin. That's the perception of him. I'm curious how it affects his gameplay going forward because he seems to care so much about that perception and reputation. I think it's gonna drive the other castmates crazy. But in my perspective, I think it's this whole Ozzy versus Coach thing. It's building up to them going against each other at the merge, in my opinion. And I'm not complaining about that. I love the Ozzy versus Coach dynamic. It's a great nod to South Pacific, and it's funny to see history sort of like, you would think maybe rewrite itself, but no, I feel like history maybe repeat itself in a sense of Coach doing things that are, you know, like objectively devious, I guess. And then still go on to have these confessionals about how he is honorable and integrity and all of this. I think there was a funny moment in the premiere, I think, where after he starts going on this ramble about Ozzy, he turns to Jonathan and he's like, I will never betray you. And I'm just like, okay, coach, like you're full of shit. Like, I just don't think I think he likes to think that I don't think he's trying to like lie in saying he's in like he has integrity. I think he just has genuinely convinced himself in his own delusions that that's how he is. And it's sort of like, if you convince yourself of something so hard, like that becomes your own reality. And I think that's how it is with Coach, even though I don't think that's the perception.
I have a few thoughts. One thing I just want to say is, I don't know, watching this season already, like I'm liking seeing a bit more conflict back in Survivor. The 40s
Yeah.
were all
Thank
about
God. Thank
Kumbaya.
God.
We got a little bit of it. And honestly, this is for me like the exact right amount of like nastiness. People are not waving their fingers in each other's faces, screaming at each other vile things. It's just genuine like disagreements and people kind of sniping at each other. That's the kind of stuff I can appreciate. And it goes on to like a bigger point is just seeing all these people back, all these different personalities that I highly doubt would get casted in the 40s just as a newbie. I had so much fun seeing all these people back. And one other thing I did want to just touch on at the end here is I am like very curious to see because it's been so long since a lot of these players has played. And I feel like social media has been such a large factor, particularly in the 40s, at least from my perception. I feel like so much of Survivor, like there's so much more online hate and toxicity. I mean, there was plenty back in the day, but it just wasn't as readily available because social media wasn't everywhere the way that I feel like I've seen a lot more in the 40s. And so it's so interesting to me to see like a player like Coach, who a lot of people like they don't think Coach is a genius player, but they absolutely love Coach. And it's interesting to see like he last played, what was it, like 27 seasons ago? Like back then, yeah, there was social media around, but it was not as prevalent to anywhere close to a degree. He still got a lot of hate, and I feel like a lot more people actively hated Coach back during his first three appearances, whereas now Coach is almost celebrated, perhaps not for being a genius, but just as coach, he's so unique. He's so lovable in his own way. And he's not, at the end of the day, he's not a terrible player. He has some game sense. So it's just interesting. And another player like Colby, who last played like 30 seasons ago, like social media wasn't around as much then. He is like Mr. Survivor. He was Mr. USA in season two, one of the biggest players ever. And he's coming back to where a more casual audience can have more of an outlet to actually discuss him and criticize him or appreciate him. I'm really interested to see a lot of these old players who weren't around as much when social media was a lot quieter. And it's more interesting to see like these players come back and interact with that new environment as Survivors changed.
Yeah, going back to what you said about like seeing more conflict in season 50 compared to the 40s, not even in just in like a gameplay sense. If we go to like that pink tribe, that the Vatu tribe, they were like there was like conflict and stuff going on. I guess
The
Q was being the
purple, it's
most
purple,
vocal.
Isaiah. It's purple.
It looks pink. I don't know why they call it
It
purple. It
is
looks pink.
purple.
But even just about like conflict about like doing stuff around camp life. That sounds like so old school, and you would think like in a new era season, like why would I ever want to hear that? It's all about the gameplay. But honestly, in a sense, that's so refreshing again to see some sort of conflict dynamic. And I do want to. This might be like completely not irrelevant, but if I was on Survivor, I'd be like Rizzo. I would not want to do a damn thing around camp,
Yeah.
and I just want to play the game of Survivor. And I'm surprised he made the comment saying on 49 he got away with doing nothing and camp life and just like playing the game of Survivor. You would think on such a small tribe, people would pick up on that and you'd be targeted. But I guess for whatever reason, that's not as valued. But maybe with this old school cast, people actually do care about that and people will get targeted and sent home for being lazy around camp for whatever reason.
In which case, thank God, Coach is a workhorse, right?
So
But
Listen, he worked himself to death out on the ocean so hard. He was getting cramps. He needed a boat to come and rescue him. It's crazy.
I thought that was a funny confessional from Mike White about how he just wanted he wanted so bad to go out there and like hang with Jonathan and like get fish for the tribe, and he comes back like limping.
it gave a strong echo of his exile visit in Token Sheens a little bit. Although
Yeah.
this one seemed a bit more real.
And
Yeah, no,
I guess
it's
maybe
such
wait, like you said, awareness maybe a little bit in the sense I think he did say he wasn't in the physical condition maybe he thought he was. So there's that.
Yeah.
And I also, before we got off the topic of Coach too, I saw this on Instagram the other day. I was looking for it. A quote from Sophie at the FTC of South Pacific. Before I came to this game, I said, I wish I was a man because men in this game seem to be able to get two young girls to follow them to the end, and that's something I can't do. And when I met Coach, I saw him as the equivalent of a young girl. And I'm so curious if what the perception is going to be of him in this game. Is he going to be a follower? Do you think he's going to follow Jonathan? Is that what it's giving? Or
Well,
is he
I don't know, going back to which, by the way, that is such a good line from Sophie. I
okay?
think that's a good thing to throw at Coach to undermine his game. I guess in a sense of the equivalent of a young girl being like, yeah, incredibly loyal. And because Coach is always preaching his loyalty and how important his loyalty is to him and like his whole game. Um, I don't know, maybe. I mean, I don't think Coach did in a sense to like bring himself closer to Jonathan in terms of like an alliance or in a strategic sense. I thought he just wanted to, I don't know, be like Jonathan, be the hero. Because I guess Coach likes to be the hero or whatever with the whole journey situation and get fish and whatnot. But that did not work out. He's getting old and he's getting cramps in the
Yeah.
water, I guess.
As for how he'll function in the game, I think I said this during our premiere recap, but the way I envision it is likely that he'll be surrounded by a group of people that are going to preach the honor integrity thing, and maybe one or two people in his alliance really buy into it. And then there's going to be a couple gamers in that group that are saying that's their thing, but they're not really into it. And coach is going to be the figurehead of this thing. But as people get sent off to jury, so this is way down the line, but this is how I envision it is that if people are getting sent off to jury and then there's this 5-person group or so it's kind of running things, coach is going to be seen as the figurehead and he's going to think of himself as the figurehead. But as people
Yeah.
are on the jury watching everything happen, they're going to see coach as the fool being puppeted by the couple gamers that are behind his back.
I think that's actually a really good take because we talked about
Yes.
like the post merge being like Ozzy versus coach, and who knows, that might be the theme of the season. We may have coaches, people like, your Jonathans, your Joes, that loyal
So,
faction, and then on the other side we have Ozzy. Perhaps we see like Suri, I don't know, Christian and like Devins or whatever. Or actually, I don't even know why I said Christian and Devins, but I guess
yeah.
they were on that same tribe. But I think the people who might be the ones to look out for, the people who see these two factions and are strategically just playing in the middle and
Gonna
playing
use
around that.
them.
And I think those are the people that are going to come out on top this season if that truly does happen.
Yeah, for sure.
And
So
I
one thing, okay.
sorry, just before we get off that topic, I'm just so curious, with this talk of like a anticipated Coach versus Ozzy, who do you guys have your money on making it farther, Coach or Ozzy?
Um,
Uh,
and- mm.
my heart says coach. But at the same time, like I'm not particularly if you pit them against each other, like I think Ozzy has proven himself. I don't even know what I want to say about this because neither of them I think are really that great of players. I see them both
I
much more
agree.
being used as like the puppeted figurehead in both
I
of
agree.
these situations in a potential war. So who do I have my money on? Sari.
No, I
I
agree.
guess
No, I agree with that like take saying that, yeah, they're probably going to be like the
I
puppets.
think
So
so
it really comes
too.
down to who are
But I
these
want to know
people aligned
who gets
with.
voted out first between the
Well,
I
two
I
of them.
think I
see.
think I say coach because Ozzy has certain people like Suri to back him who are more strategically savvy. So for that reason, I think he's going to stay more in the game. Obviously, Suri, somebody, a very savvy player, is looking out for Ozzy's life in the game. And I feel like people who's going to be, on team coach, fighting for coach, what like Joe? Like, what is Joe going to do? So I don't know. That's
Yeah.
my take.
I think it's tough because I mean, for me, as an edit watcher, like I pay attention to that stuff, it's difficult for me to actually like firmly put my foot down because you ask me that question. The edit is what I pay attention to for who I think the editors are trying to put me on the side of. And honestly, I really feel like it's kind of
Both.
neither. Like they both have their positives and negatives. It really just I don't know. It's so 50-50.
I'm gonna go opposite of Isaiah just for the fun of it and because I love Coach and I'm gonna say I think Ozzy will go before Coach. But I might actually believe it too. I mean it could we don't know, it could be either, but I guess I find maybe Coach's social game to be stronger. People just buying what he's selling, because Coach at the end of the day cares so much about this reputation of being like loyal and trustworthy. I think people will see that and be like, okay, he'll be loyal and trustworthy to me. Whereas
But are
I
people
think Ozzy could be taken out sort of as an indirect attack at Suri.
That's what I think too. But are people really gonna buy it? Because I feel like the Matt chat was a very bad look for him. But at the same time, Mike White said it, I think in the premiere, he's like, I don't care if coach is not actually being like honorable and like honest and whatnot. And that'd be like my like sort of perspective on Survivor too, because I mean that's what Survivor is. It's about, lying, manipulation, all that stuff. Like I wouldn't care if somebody gets caught in a lie, like we're all doing it. So I don't see what the big deal is. I know to certain people out there, it's probably a big deal. But yeah, I was gonna ask you too. Are you? But I think you already answered that question. Are you just saying that just because, oh, that's the opposite of what I said, or do you actually believe or see the vision that Coach is gonna outlast Ozzy?
I can see a world where Coach outlasts Ozzy, sure. I think it's that's why I asked the question because I was so unsure. I think it could go either way. But I said the opposite just to be fun, just to be like, let's bet on it, whatever. See who comes out
Mhm.
on top. But I think it's interesting too. I think you mentioned Mike White in that, and Mike White is one of my favorites, I gotta say. Love Mike White. He's just so jovial and happy. And I mean, it's interesting because I guess he mentioned something about, just wanting to be this goofy, like loved guy, like not as into the strategy. And I'm trying to remember in David versus Goliath because I feel like he did have some strategic backing behind him
He
then.
did.
No, he definitely
Um,
did. Yeah.
Definitely did. And I'm curious because I mean, I don't think we've really seen it come out yet. And I'm wondering if we're going to at all, or if he's just trying to play differently and maybe is not trying to leave that part of him in a different season and just totally use the social game. I don't know if he'll necessarily win that way. But I can see him making a pretty deep run, even though I know a lot of fans weren't that hopeful for him.
The thing is,
I
I'm
I
not
see
sure.
him.
Oh, okay. I'll finish real quick. But I thought like he said that in a confessional. So I thought that was like his strategy, though, that he was going to make himself appear that way. But in actuality, he is playing this like strategic game. So I'm not sure, but then at the same time, I believe he said like, "Oh, I just want to have fun out here. I'm just gonna vote out whoever like annoys me." And it's very clear that,
Yeah, he did
he's
say
just kind
that.
of here to have a good time. He's doing pretty well for himself. He doesn't really need to win Survivor. I'm sure he sees this more as a vacation, if anything.
Yeah, I mean, part of it could just be that's what he's saying to the camera, like he's here for a fun time. I think it's probably a mix of the both. He has his mind on the game and the strategy, but he probably more than anyone on the cast is coming in saying, I'm super successful. I had a really good first run in my first season. I don't think he really has much to prove. So if he wants to say, fuck it, let me kick back and like just have a good time this season, like roll with the people I like, take out the people I don't, good on him. That's fine. And hell, he could still be a threat because of that. He's got the strategic chops. He's got abs now, so that's
Yeah,
fine.
that was crazy. Is that your guys' take that you think he's probably gonna be not really a front runner to win, but just sort of like a, just
I don't, I don't see him winning, but that's
no, me
more just from
neither.
the money. That's more just from the money that
I
he
don't
Yeah.
see
makes.
him winning either. I guess I'm asking if like, do you think he's gonna be a game player or do you think he's just gonna be like,
I'm not sure.
just
I
a
feel
number?
like I said before, I think it could go either way. Maybe a mix of both, but I don't think he's winning. Yeah, because honestly, I don't think anybody would even vote for Mike White, even if he played a good game. I know this is season 50, and I'm sure this is a good cast that would award good gameplay, but I think Mike White is like the exception here. Like, I don't know if anybody's gonna vote for him to get the money when he clearly does not need it.
Yeah.
This is true.
One thing I feel like could be good to move on to
Mhm.
is we have a bunch of people that got zero confessionals this episode. The premiere 3 hours, everyone got to speak at least once. This time we had, let me check here. We had Tiffany
Irrelevant.
got
Shouldn't
no
be on this cast.
confessionals. Camilla got no confessionals, but she got her piece about Kyle, so I feel like she stood out enough there.
What is not as
Um,
necessary but better than Tiffany? Okay.
Another person that, in my opinion,
I was
if
expecting Camilla to have a confessional after the Kyle,
Oh yeah, that
yeah,
honestly.
would have made
she
sense.
got
Yeah.
her map chat, and that was good enough. One person that honestly I thought got a confessional, and I saw this and thought, I guess she didn't. Chrissy didn't get a confessional this episode.
She didn't get a good
She
edit
got
either.
Not a confessional and not a very good edit so far either.
no. Well, I think I remember it was just because she said in the premiere she just wanted to be like cackling behind the scenes, and then I noticed her during Camilla crying on the mat because Kyle left, and for some reason she just looked so out of place next to me, or so out of place standing there. Like I could just imagine the thoughts, like, oh, whatever, good that he's gone. Like that's just what I imagine her thinking. I don't put thoughts in her head, say that's what she was thinking, just that because of how she spoke in the premiere and then seeing that highly emotional moment and knowing what she was like on 35, like just seeing her there in that circumstance while Camilla's crying because Kyle's gone, she just seems so out of place to me.
And she seemed pretty out of place on her tribe too, from those
Yeah.
dynamics this episode. They all seemed pretty fed up with her. I guess Charlie was the only one who said anything positive about maybe wanting to work with her, and then quickly also said, you know what, like if she's a sinking ship, like I'm not sinking with her. Which I mean, I guess good for Charlie. We really haven't seen much of him either.
Yeah, Charlie's been very quiet. Isaiah's winner pick, by the
That
way.
is my
I was,
preseason winner pick. Yeah, I'm not feeling
although
as
not
confident.
on his draft team because Stallings got the first pick on the draft and
And
he
it
took
was
Charlie.
Charlie. Yeah, I'm surprised Charlie said that older like women was his like is his like bread and butter in terms of
Yeah,
like
didn't
an
he like
ally,
have that
which
beef
I
with
Yeah,
understand
I
because he
was
worked
I
closely
was
with Maria, but
waiting.
Maria also cost him
Yeah,
That's
$1 million.
what I was
I
thinking.
was waiting for like the end of his confessional there to be like, but I learned my lesson last time,
Yes.
just to like throw
Yeah,
some
me
shade at her, but he
too.
didn't, which whatever. Last two people really quick didn't get a confessional. Angelina didn't. She just stood around camp. That was it.
Just staring there.
Very
Really
quiet
funny
premiere for
editing,
her.
by the way. Just different clips of her standing and staring.
Yeah. And then Stephanie also didn't get anything, which she was around, but I feel like if you hear from Colby or you hear from Stephanie, I feel like you're probably hearing from both of them pretty much. I feel like they're probably in pretty much the same headspace.
Yeah, I was surprised because Angelina didn't get much content in the premiere either, and I think
Mhm.
she was just one of the big fan favorites to come back from my understanding. She was one of the big people and really not much from her at all. Honestly, that whole purple tribe really just was hard to get a read on. A lot of them, other than I guess really Genevieve had her screen time and Kyle when he was there. And Q's been talking a lot, but I mean, I
Colby, I
love
think, has
Q.
gotten a fair shake as well.
Yeah, no, this is true. No, yeah, I guess they've gotten like they've talked, but I guess it's hard. It was hard for me to sort of understand their approaches to the game. But yeah, because they all did. Because Rizzo too. I mean, Rizzo, I guess from the premiere when first it was annoying Colby, and then Colby came around to him and sort of pulled him in. Now it seems like he's sort of replacing Kyle in that alliance. But now they're also like, oh, he's not doing work around camp. So he's sort of getting a big roller coaster of an edit too, where it's kind of hard for me to tell, is he able to make a deep run? I know you mentioned that, Isaiah, that, if one player, Savannah, went out early, will Rizzo make a deep run? And I don't know if I think he'll make a deep run, honestly. I don't
Yeah,
think so.
I was also thinking about that, like thinking back about other examples of people coming back from back-to-back seasons. An example I can think of, Rupert got fourth place in All Stars. Malcolm didn't do amazing in Caramoan. Zeke and Michaela did okay-ish. I
Well,
don't think neither of them stood out.
they all made merge, but we also had Amanda who made FTC back to back,
Oh
Russell who
yeah, I
made
guess Russell,
FTC
yeah,
back to back seasons. Who else? Stephanie who made it to FTC her second
FTC, I
time
guess.
and had a decent run in the merge. So, yeah, everybody, Savannah is actually the first pre-merge boot to go home pre-merge playing back-to-back seasons, which
Oh.
honestly, we all saw that coming given the fact that she was a winner and whatnot, which we already talked about. So,
Hmm.
Yeah.
yeah.
The only
As far
oh
as Rizzo goes, though, I just don't know. It's really hard to tell. I don't think he's gonna make it deep, but I think maybe a middle of the pack type of boot.
Well, I
Yeah, he
think
kind of seems like a fluff pick.
I mean, there is a swap, so obviously, like his position and the whole tribe dynamics is going to change. And I don't know. I see Rizzo again as like one of those like strategists. I know, like we talked about the whole Aussie coach thing, and now I'm like sold on this idea. And I honestly could see this being the narrative of the season, the two
Yeah.
sides, and then the people in the middle, the strategists, maybe like your Rizzo, your Christian, Aubrey, people like that are playing around, being in the middle, and those are the people that end up like winning the game, perhaps running circles around these two sides. Although the thing also too with Rizzo is that I've noticed he has changed. He is with an older crowd. He's not really talking about the Riz God anymore. I don't think he's said Riz God at all. At least that has made the air on 50 so far, which I'm kind of surprised we haven't heard the Rizgod Riz God baby little bit, but we haven't heard it at all. So maybe
I thought you my for like point two of a second there, I thought you were gonna say little bitch.
no, no,
I think
no.
there was a little bit of awareness shown. I think at the beginning of the episode, he mentioned something I thought was true about how he felt like he came in a little bit too hyper, and
Mhm.
then he kind of calmed down, and people were approaching him, or people appreciated that approach more, which I think was a good read on his end.
Yeah.
But I can't see him really being the main force of an alliance in this. I see him being used more so
I
as
I can't
as
see
this
him
replacement type of number, the way he is sort of right now since Kyle got booted. That's the only reason they're really pulling him in.
I can't see him as a winner. Just in that, like, this is an older cast. I can't imagine the youngest player on the cast being awarded the win. That just feels like a stretch to me. It's just something that you don't really see happen. And yeah, this is just an older cast, and his style of play. Like he doesn't care about work around camp. Like he just wants to come here to play the game. Stupid. Like you know your audience. No, see, look at who's around you. Pick up a stick every once in a while.
Yeah.
Well,
With
again,
like
he
the
has
age,
changed.
the age is interesting to me because it does seem like I don't know, maybe it's just coincidental, but it seems like there is more of these alliances being formed based on age, It seems like some of the older players are sticking together, some of the younger players are sticking together, and I'm curious if that's going to be a line that gets blurred. I feel like we haven't really seen that too much yet. I guess the best example maybe is on that Purple Tribe with that big alliance, but
Yeah,
otherwise it seems like, there's Coach and Ozzy and Jonathan all kind of older, and Jonathan maybe not as old, but like seems like an old soul. And then there's
yeah,
on the Orange Tribe with Christian, Emily, Devon's all younger. I don't know. And
I
then
don't think.
yeah.
that alliance too of those girls, I think
The girls,
Tiffany,
I
Camilla,
was just
Mhm.
gonna say that because yeah, one
Mhm.
person we haven't talked about, and she's probably had the quietest double or both the quietest edit across both episodes, equalizing them out, is D. She had one confessional in both episodes. I don't even remember what her confessional was this
Neither do
episode. It was
I.
probably about Coach or something. But I don't know. I
It
am
was,
curious.
I
Like,
remember.
yeah,
It was like
Rachel.
some it was something about like something about being on a tribe with like lunatics or something, or was that
Yeah,
her?
maybe
I thought that
something like
was
that.
Aubrey. Oh,
Maybe that was yeah.
I think Aubrey said something about like, yeah, I
Sorry,
don't know.
D.
But no, one thing that honestly, I don't even think it's an age thing because if like as you were like listing out the people, Rachel, coincidentally, you listed out like the new era people or the, together and then the old school people together. I mean, it makes sense. Obviously, the older school players are, theoretically, I mean, not necessarily, but they're more likely to be older in terms of age. So I think we're kind of seeing not an old versus new school division, which by the way, I don't see this being, at least so far, a winners at war type situation where we see all these old schoolers just get purged in the pre-merge, which I'm happy about that, even though Jenna going home first was, I mean, I know we talked about this in the premiere. I don't know what your thoughts are, Rachel, on Jenna going home first. I kept up with the preseason a little bit, and I thought she was very entertaining. I thought she had a lot of potential. I mean, she had kind of the new school mindset of wanting to like play the game, but I think she played a bit too hard and was a bit like into the, oh, this is new era, fast-paced game or whatever. And it's also interesting because I know we kind of talked about this last episode too. There's not really, I mean, there's certain fundamental like things that like you have to do in Survivor that are just wrong also no matter what. But in a way, there's kind of not a wrong way to play Survivor because on certain seasons, yeah, that's kind of the way you have to play the game. You have to hit like put your foot on the gas, um, quick, fast speed. But in other seasons, like sometimes you have to be a little bit laid back and a bit cagey. I think we saw with like, I don't know if you saw 48, but like Say was like putting her foot on the gas, like playing incredibly hard. And she didn't get booted for that. Instead, people kind of kept up with the pace and she set the pace. And the first boot of that season was Stephanie, who didn't really do all that much and was a bit afraid to overplay. So I think it's interesting, especially on a
We could reach out to
returning.
her to appear on the podcast.
Also think it's a bit interesting that this happens on a returnee season because you would think this would be the season where people would play hard, but I guess for the premiere was quite the opposite. The person who got booted was the person who played the hardest.
Yeah, my thoughts on Jenna weren't nothing too significant. I agree in the preseason she seemed like she was getting a lot of they did friend or foe and she had a lot of friends, it seemed.
No,
But
Joe had a lot of friends. He said friend
that's
for
who
like literally everybody.
no, I
Like,
didn't mean that she said it. I mean that was said about her when people
oh, okay.
because there were some things like online comparing like what everybody said for every player and I think she was one of like the more liked people in terms of like when most people were asked friend or foe for Jenna, I think most people said friend from what I read. And yeah, she seemed much better set up than how it actually went down. She definitely overplayed. She seemed pretty hyped up, revved up, wanting to prove something. But strange approach for sure. Definitely a little aggressive and Jump the gun maybe targeting Suri before the challenge. Assuming no shade to Suri that, Suri was probably going to be a name to push if they were to lose a challenge just because of performance regardless. I think she just kind of like maybe rubbed people the wrong way doing it before. And I think she was just in my opinion, that episode, the clear consensus vote on the tribe. So I understood, that she was going to be the one to go home there. But it was sad to see her go since she is front representing season one. But eh, I wasn't too devastated.
Yeah, for sure. So I think we're kind of running out of things to talk about, but to touch real quick, I mean, talk about the challenges a little bit. I thought a few notes. I mean, we got Jonathan's magnificent swan dive. I remember seeing that at least one time in 42. So good to see he hasn't lost his form.
It's nothing
Colby,
compared to Isaiah. Isaiah does a
that's
better
true.
swamp
I
dive.
have seen his flop dive. It's pretty impressive. But Colby,
I'd sit out of the
I
challenge, but continue.
for the Superman in a fat suit from season 20 to him like seeming like a little gassed and like yeah he's 50 years old now. Impressive yanking that snake, screaming his lungs out. Like good
Yeah.
on him. I'm happy to see Colby like have these little moments where he's competent in challenges because that was his big thing that he was Mr. USA, won 5 immunities, first to ever do so, and then he sucked ass at every single thing. So seeing a bit more of that fire in him during the challenges is nice. Beyond that, do you guys have any notes on the challenges?
Not really, no. I mean, this is a bit off topic, but I guess we could like talk about this every week, and I guess with the guest that's on. I know we mentioned this last week, but any winner, not like preseason winner picks, obviously, because we kind of talked about that, but based on the edit and what we've seen so far, any winner contenders?
You
Hmm.
asking me too, Isaiah?
Well, yeah,
Really? Thank
of
you.
course.
I
Hmm.
mean, I don't know if this person, I don't think they'll win, but I think Christian's gonna be a really strong player for sure. I think he's gonna make a deep run. It'd be awesome if he won. I don't know if he's a winner contender though. Maybe. Hmm. I don't know.
I mean, he's
You know that
definitely
that's
has had like a lot of screen time. Probably, I don't know if he's had the most amount of confessionals, but he's definitely has to be up there.
For sure.
yeah. I mean, it is Christian. That was Nick's pick last week as well. He said Christian.
Which Nick was
I
it?
mean Pellegrino.
Oh, okay.
Yeah. But I don't know. I'll probably say the same thing about Christian I said last week. I feel like he can't escape how likable he is. I think he'll probably just be too big of a threat, and there's going to be some physical immunity challenges that he just can't clutch out, and then he'll just go because he doesn't have the protection. That'd be my prediction. That'll probably stay my prediction until I'm proven wrong. So
I
Yeah,
don't
we'll see
fair
what
know.
enough.
happens. But yeah,
Yeah, I
I mean,
don't
I
know
think
what I
with
said. Oh, I'll finish real quick. I don't know what I said last
thanks.
episode, but I'm gonna say, I mean, Suri has had a really good showing, and I know it's like too good to be true, but honestly. Like, it's kind of crazy to think about it because I think looking at the tribes preseason, I thought that Orange tribe was just like perfectly like set up for Suri. Like, I didn't think anybody was gonna like, I didn't think anybody would think that that tribe would lose challenges because they had Joe, Ozzy, all these physical people, Savannah, and yet that's like the kind of like this shit show tribe in a way. So I don't really know, but I guess I'll just say Suri, even though I'm not really convinced that she will win. Maybe they'll keep her around late in the game, assuming that the fans voted for the vote and not fire making. They just think, oh, we could just vote her out when we get to four, and then it's like, oh, surprise, fire making challenge, and somehow Suri wins fire and wins this game. That's probably won't happen, but who knows? See.
Someone I'm interested to see how far they make it in particular is Q. I think Q has had a pretty strong first two episodes in
Yeah.
terms of screen time. Where he wasn't really directly involved in much, but still like they keep kind of going to him for his commentary. Which I think Q is really entertaining and honestly probably my favorite new era player, like the one I was most excited to see. He's just entertaining to me. Um I don't know your guys' thoughts on him, but I can't tell like if he's gonna burn out early or it's so hard to tell with Q. He's so unpredictable. That's what happened, in the previous season he played, I feel.
Yeah,
Um,
I was expecting, having not seen 46.
Oh,
to
okay.
appreciate like one or two episodes of Q, and then that's it. Then I've had enough Q because I understood him just as a character. And I think, yeah, we've still gotten those little bits of character Q, but he has definitely been a player this season, which is very nice. Beyond that, I don't know. It's difficult to really say how far he's gonna make it. I wouldn't be surprised if he potentially made it super far. And I mean, I wouldn't be upset to see him make it super far now that we're seeing him more as a player than a character. So difficult to really say.
Yeah, honestly,
Okay, what do
same
you think?
same opinion. I thought Q going into the season was just going to be an early boot, and oh, we'll have like a Q moment. He was just going to be a character, and then we'll be done. But I do appreciate Q being more of a player this time around than a character. It seems like he actually wants to win and is thinking pretty sound, like thinking pretty, you know, strategically and is pretty sound in terms of his strategy and whatnot. So
Yeah. For sure. So
yeah.
one thing, probably the biggest thing, and like I said, my favorite part of the episode, I feel like we should I'll talk about this at some
Yeah,
point. Devon's and his whole fake
Oh
idol
my
thing. Now
God, we didn't talk about it at all.
going
Yeah.
into this, well, yeah, this was like the biggest thing from the episode. Going into this, I actually wasn't sure, and Isaiah, you said this too right before we started recording. I wasn't sure what actually he was fully planning to do. If he was planning on
same,
like hiding it and then claiming it in front of his own
same,
tribe or something like that.
same.
Like I wasn't sure what he was doing. And I was very happy to see the result. And what like a wonderful little nugget to save there. An amazing Christian falling over to keep everyone distracted. Like that's just like chef's kiss survivor movement right there. I'm like, I am so curious. I know we're gonna get the like stereotypical shot every single tribal council now. It's gonna be that one shot of the idol sitting there, and it's gonna be like, when's this bomb gonna go off? Because now that's Chekhov's gun. We're waiting for that to go off. We're waiting for somebody to claim that idol. And I think it's going to be awesome. I'm really interested to see how that plays out because it's just so unpredictable, especially with a swap coming. Like that's awesome. I'm really curious and good on them because that's such a unique decision to make, unique thing to do.
Unless I misunderstood, I think they also even, maybe I misunderstood, but I thought they were toying around with the idea of even planting it there for maybe one of them to claim at some point in the future if they're in trouble
That's
with
that's
bluff.
what I
I
thought
think
it
that's
was.
the
That's
in
I
Mhm.
think
I
that's what they
think that's
did.
their intention now, seeing that they planted it like right before they were gonna leave tribal council. Because yeah, I agree with Kyle. We were talking about it. I wasn't sure if they were just gonna like stand up right then and there.
Same.
Why would they
Yeah.
do that? Because they're not on the block.
I
But
didn't
the
think that'd be
fact that they
smart.
are
I'm glad they
waiting,
didn't.
the fact that they are
Well, yeah, but Dev,
waiting to do that in the future, I think honestly, I think people are gonna buy it because like hiding an idol at tribal, they've never done that before.
On 50, yeah.
I know if they ended on 50. So yeah, we'll see how that plays out. I think that's gonna amount to something at some point for sure.
Yeah, no, that was definitely interesting to see. And I'm excited to see what they do. I think they're a really cool duo. And I think also now I'm just thinking of them and thinking of them with Emily, I can see Emily being a potential winner too. Um,
yeah,
I can
Emily's good.
see
Yeah.
I can see Christian and Devon's being bigger shields in that alliance to go for first, and Emily just randomly pulling it out. That'd be pretty cool. I wouldn't be mad. Um, and I was gonna ask too, this is a little bit off topic from that, but as we're wrapping it up, like I don't want to obviously know any spoilers, but people do tend to know the swap tribes before and sort of analyze those. Do you guys know what the swap tribes are or have
Oh.
any interest of knowing or no?
Not yet. I'm sure I will look at them because I don't care. That's a spoiler I don't give a shit about.
That's what
Let
I'm
me check
saying.
really quick.
Because
Yeah,
I
yeah,
would
we
love,
do. Yeah,
I'd
we do
love
have
to
them. Hold on.
maybe,
Okay, do you want to know them really quickly?
I do, and
Oh
I would
wait,
love
are they
to,
there?
I'd love
Yeah,
to
it's like the first
analyze
thing
them
there.
too,
I'm not scrolling
honestly.
down at all because I don't want to see anything below
Oh,
it,
I
but
want
they
to
are
take a look
there.
at this myself. It's on
Okay,
Reddit, right?
so yeah, it's the spoiled
I'm gonna
survivor.
write it down, so.
Okay, so on New Sela. Oh, hold on. 1 second. Notification popped up. Okay. On New Sela, that's the Orange Tribe, we have Suri, Devons, Charlie, Dee, Jonathan, Camilla, and Rizzo. Then on New Vatu, we have Angelina, Hugh, Stephanie, Christian, Emily, Ozzy, and Mike White. And then on Kahlo or New Kahlo, we have Chrissy, Coach, Tiffany, Aubrey, Colby, Genevieve, and Joe.
Oh, but these are like this is speculation though. I don't think this is
Is it speculation? I didn't see. I just looked at it.
it says speculation swap tribes from episode 3 sneak peek. Is that what you're looking at?
Yeah, it was the very first post. I mean, it's probably
I
mostly
mean, I
accurate
wouldn't be
from the
surprised
people that
if
have looked at
it
it.
is for the most part, yeah, accurate, to be honest, yeah. Because they did show a couple people in the preview like with their new buffs, so maybe somebody has like
Yeah, you can
dissected the
deliberate a little
preview
bit,
by
but
now.
yeah, I mean, from these tribes, it's difficult for me to wrap my head around it. I have difficulty just understanding all the connections. But I mean, we have what? Okay, so Emily and Christian stay together. Devens goes away.
And not only
Ozzy,
do Emily and Christian stay together, but Mike White joins, which Christian and Mike White have a
oh
connection.
yeah, and Angelina.
And
That entire trio
Angelina.
is
Oh
joining,
Wow.
wow.
Wow. So they're set, in my opinion.
Are they? Because
hypothetically.
it's 4-3. Like, wait, who else is in that? Like,
It's Angelina,
It's
Christian,
Ozzy,
and Mike.
Emily, Stephanie, and Q.
Angelina, Christian, and Mike are a three, and then I would think Emily would be a four with them.
oh, okay,
Yeah.
I
Is
see.
And
my guess.
then I hate for if we're talking about honor and integrity, we do have Joe, Colby, and Coach on one tribe.
Oh God.
Oh. And honestly, I can see Chrissy sneaking in that alliance somehow. I don't know.
Okay,
Yeah, I
I
could
see
see
the
that.
vision now. This is the start of Coach gathering his troops for the
That's what I'm
war and of the
saying.
merge. Yes.
And that's the thing. I think Coach is gonna gather people, and I think Ozzy's just gonna be lucky to survive if he's, like, that's
Yeah,
just my
and
take. I don't know.
Oh yeah,
Poor
Ozzy's kind
Rizzo
of
is
like
alone.
alone on that tribe. Yeah, he doesn't
He
have
is
Sari to
alone.
like play the game for him.
Right. And then the new Sela. I don't really that the new Sela tribe is gonna be an interesting one to see. I mean, you still
Yeah.
have Dee and Camilla together. Um, that's really the only connection
I'm
that
trying to
I
see like
see.
what's the new school to old school breakdown because that tech by old school standards, Sela only has Suri and Devins from old school.
Yeah, that's a lot of new school people, you're right. That'll be interesting. Honestly, I might be a little worried for Suri on that tribe.
Yeah, I could see that being dangerous.
Hmm.
But hey, she has an extra vote now.
Well, I don't know, cause like I think on that tribe there's like other big like who would be labeled big threats going into the season, like power players. We have people like I think like D and Charlie. I think it makes sense maybe for them to keep somebody like Suri around. Charlie likes to work with like the older woman, so maybe not. I don't know.
I don't know. That'll be an interesting one to see. I'm honestly not really sure where Jonathan fits into that grouping either.
Oh, actually, wait, one thing I want to see. Where did the idols go? So Genevieve and
Oh,
Ozzy are
yeah.
still separate, and
Mhm.
Christian sent the idol to Aubrey,
Aubrey, they're
who is also on
separate.
a separate tribe.
But you know who's still together? Aubrey and Genevieve. That seems
Oh,
like
yeah.
Yeah.
some type of thing,
In my opinion, that came out of nowhere. Like watching the
right?
premiere, you would think that they like knew each other before the season, but like I don't know.
If anything, it did feel like it came out of nowhere, but it felt like it was a strange interaction from Aubrey's end. That's how they
Mhm.
edited
Yeah.
it, at least. Um,
Yeah,
yeah,
Aubrey definitely felt like the
interesting.
odd one there.
Yeah, I don't know. I'm looking at the tribes. I'm thinking we're a little worried for not sure where Suri fits in, not sure where Jonathan fits in, and then the Vatu one. Honestly, Stephanie or Q maybe. Kalo, whatever.
Kalo, yeah.
Um, Kalo maybe Genevieve is gone there. I don't know. Just like random gut gut
Also you
reactions.
got to
I have
think
no
about
idea.
like who has like a lost vote because there's like a couple people that don't even have
True.
votes.
True. That's why I kind of think Q is in a weird spot on that tribe.
Oh shoot, yeah, because they at least have they at least have enough for it to be 3-3. I didn't think about that. I just assumed that like the David versus Goliath people were just outnumbered. But I guess yeah, they could get Emily in there. Yeah. Shoot, maybe Q, yeah, Stephanie and
Stephanie and Q
Ozzy
are
are like in trouble. Yeah.
I think Stephanie and Cukes. I think my guess is they that Emily and Christian would kind of use Ozzy as like a little, like, hey, like
Mhm.
come with us, be our vote. And Ozzy doesn't really have the social capital to like do much about them. Yeah, just my initial like gut reactions at the tribes. It's that, like you said, Kyle, hard to sort of really wrap your head around it until we actually see it on the beach. I think that would the same thing was true for seeing the starting tribes for season 50. I think that also went maybe a different way than we thought. I don't think many people predicted Jenna being the first boot. Um,
Yeah. And like I said, I don't think people would have predicted that tribe to lose like every challenge as well.
I
So
agree. I agree.
Okay, well, we can pretty much wrap things up. We'll start by covering the draft. Now, Rachel, I'll send you in DMs. Here's your draft team. Those are the really good teams. I'm down to 5 people or 6 people now. I lost Savannah tonight, and Savannah went in, what was it, a 6-1 vote. She didn't use her freaking block of vote. I would have gotten -1 point if she freaking used that. So she got 22nd place. So that's plus 3 points for me. Then she got 6 votes against her. So that's -6 for me. So my overall score now sits at -1. And Ozzy got 1 vote. So that's also -1 for you, meaning you now sit at -7. And Stallings and I are now tied for -1.
Can you explain the mechanics of the draft? Like, what is this like
Rachel, if
minus
you read the description of episode 1, you know.
minus like a vote
it's pretty
for
simple.
minus a
Basically, for each round or each vote, I guess, or placement that player last, you get 1 point. But for every vote they receive cast against them, they lose a point.
So Jenna got 1 point for 24th place. Kyle, 23rd place, got 2 points, so on and so forth. And then, yeah, -1 point per vote cast against them. And then at FTC, a one jury vote gets you a point as well.
Oh,
Okay,
did we decide on that? I
I
guess
believe so,
sure, why
yeah.
not?
I think that's what he said last.
cool. Interesting.
So justify your team. You're the only one with an intact team now, Rachel. So how are you feeling about your team going into the swap here?
Going in the
And
swap.
keep in mind the new swap tribes. Keep
That's
in
what
mind
I'm
the new
saying.
swap
And
tribes.
keeping those in mind, I mean, I see automatically Q, I just mentioned, word for him. He doesn't have a vote and he's on the David versus Goliath tribe. Um, Crazy that all three of them got swapped together, honestly.
It'll be a
Um,
fun reunion. I like David Risco.
Love it. And maybe we'll get some more Angelina screen time. But Sari, I'm worried about her spot, not having those social connections and not being so good at challenges. Um, so yeah, and like, Chrissy doesn't seem to have many friends in the game, so Joe doesn't seem to have friends, but for some reason I do feel more optimistic for Joe to be able to turn it around, especially being on this new tribe with Coach and Chrissy and Colby. I think that could be a better shuffle of the deck for him. Um,
Yeah.
so yeah, those are my takes on the draft team. I think Christian set. I think Emily set. The rest are more of a toss up. I think the next safer level will be Devins and Joe, Charlie, and then the concerning people would be Suri, Chris, EQ for me.
Yeah,
My,
for
yeah,
sure.
my
So
analysis.
good job, Rachel. And you justified your picks very well.
Thank you.
So
Um,
that's I believe it. We do have one last conquest tradition, unless
Yes.
Isaiah, you have anything else to say.
No, no. I was gonna say that we gotta do our predictions for the next episode. So, Rachel, what we do around here, each person's gonna give one bold prediction, one crazy bold prediction, and just one regular prediction. And I guess I'll go first since I'm already speaking. I don't think this is a bold prediction, but I think certain people can say it is. I think next episode is going to be the first time where we start to see only one tribe win immunity because certain people, people got to start getting picked off to keep up with the pacing of the season. So I think we're going to see two people go home with one tribe winning immunity. The bold prediction. Hmm. Hold on, let me take a look at these tribes again. Hmm. Bold prediction. What is my crazy bold prediction?
Your
Okay.
crazy
I
bold
have one.
predictions come from the heart.
No, I have one. I have one. Okay. The uh wait, I need to see. Okay.
You're
The
thinking too much
Kahlo
about this,
idol
man.
is gonna get found, right? And it's gonna be like function like the boomerang idol. They have to give it to somebody. And the way it works, you could give it to anybody on either like I guess on either tribe. And the person that finds it is gonna give it to Ozzy, not knowing that Ozzy already has an idol. That's my crazy bold prediction. And Ozzy is somehow gonna have two idols.
You think that what? It's another boomerang idol?
Well,
Or
yeah, because I think each tribe has a boomerang idol. One hasn't been found yet. And I think that's on Kalo Beach. And Ozzy's not on Kalo Beach. So I think whoever finds that is going to give that to Ozzy, not knowing he already has an idol. He's going to end up with two.
that's
That
interesting.
is bold. Not
That's
very
very
bold.
bold, especially because
And you had to think about it
I feel like
too
now that
long.
they've been on tribes together, I feel like it's more likely that the boomerang idol is given to someone on a different tribe that like one of the players connected with on the previous tribe. And I would only really see Suri giving it to Ozzy, in terms of
Well,
connection
that's
wise.
why it's called a bold prediction.
I
My
know, I
bold
know.
prediction last episode was that Ozzy and Coach were going to throw hands. Okay.
Yeah.
So this is a bit better.
Yeah.
Okay, so my basic prediction, I'm going to say, hold on, let me look at these tribes again really quick. Oh, I took the tribes away. This is not good news. Did I save a picture of the tribes? I did not. All right, let's go
I
back
can
into
send you a
Reddit.
screenshot.
No, 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 no.
No screenshots
No,
allowed.
no, no. All right. My basic prediction, I'm gonna say that uh, the the Sela tribe is gonna win immunity. They're gonna be all good this episode. That's my basic prediction. My bold prediction: we saw butt juice this episode. We
Oh,
saw
God.
poopy come out of Christian's booty hole. I'm thinking next episode, you know what? I wouldn't be too bold to say who it is, but I know damn well someone is pissing themselves during the challenge this next
During the
episode.
challenge.
That's
Wow.
what's going to happen.
That's
All
funny.
right, Rachel, basic and bold.
All right, my basic prediction is
You still have that sausage? What the hell?
my basic prediction I think would be I can see Devins and Charlie getting some type of alliance. I think they're gonna work together. That's my basic prediction. My
Mm-hmm.
bold prediction is that I think an advantage could come out at the next tribal council. That will be my bold prediction. New swap tribe, maybe people get scared. Maybe
Hmm.
we see an idol or a
An
block
extra
vote,
vote.
extra vote.
Yeah.
It's a bold prediction, and I doubt it, but who knows?
All right, as Kyle is enjoying his sausage that I thought he consumed like an hour ago, I guess
I was saving this one.
we will end it here. Thank you everybody for listening or watching the Survivor Conquest podcast. Be sure to like, comment, and subscribe, and we will see you guys next week.